Hey, what's going on, guys? It's LuceyGoosey or Kyle, and welcome to the UPL Finals. We are here. It is time. UPL Season 2 Finals. If you guys don't know the history of the UPL, in Season 1, I went 6-5 in the regular season, squeaked into playoffs, and ended up winning all of my playoff matches and winning the title. So this match is really important, or at least the 5 or 4, 3, however many matches there are. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's LuceyGoosey or Kyle, and welcome to UPL Season 2 Finals. We are here. It is time. We've got Team Eclipse going up against the Ruff Ryders. Ruff Ryders were the second seed. We were the first seed, so we've got a clash of, the top teams. Basically, the Ruff Ryders are made up of Rockhands, Sir Hawthorne, GV Center. Of course, Team Eclipse is myself, Mandy, and Jake. And I finished the season 2-1 against the Ruff Ryders. I lost to Sir Hawthorne 1-0, and then I beat Rocky and GV Center. I'm not sure on the differentials there. I believe Jake beat all of them, and Mandy, I'm not sure what her record was against them. But anyways, yeah, Jake is going to have to face Sir Hawthorne, I'm going to have to face Rocky, and Mandy has to face GV Center. From there, it's the same as what it was in the semifinals. If we win all 3 games, woohoo, we win the championship. If one of us loses, then we have to beat the other person, and all this stuff. So basically, you're not out until you lose the game. We have Jake versus Sir Hawthorne first. Sir Hawthorne has a really interesting team, paired with Sticky Webs or Trick Room, like goes back and forth on them. He really likes Dustclops. He also has a Golisopod on his team, which he uses well, but he didn't bring it against Jake. But you can see how Jake's team really struggles against Trick Room. So anyways, we're going to hit the play button right here. And yeah, Donphan is the lead on Sir Hawthorne's part. Jake leads with Lando, and Rocks are going to go up on both sides. So it is really important because Rocks break down Jake's team really well, like getting rid of Scolipede, Altaria, Volcarona, and Cloyster all being weak. Of course, that is Mega Altaria on his team, but before the evolution, it takes 25%. But anyways, yeah, Altaria is going to come out here on the rapid spin, so Rocks won't be a problem for Sir Hawthorne anymore, but they still will be a problem for Jake. So the Ice Shard comes out, only does 13% because Jake is a really bulky Altaria, max defense almost. So, yeah, Reuniclus is going to come out here, and Jake will get rid of those rocks with the Defog. I forgot that he had Defog on his Altaria. But anyways, Reuniclus will go for the Trick Room right here. Do a ton of damage to Lando, as Lando, I believe, goes for the knockoff and breaks the Focus Sash, taking it down to 1%. And now Jake is forced to go out into something to take another Psychic. Altaria doesn't take it that well, but yeah, he is going to roost up here, trying to stall out Trick Room, really, because Endeavor Reuniclus is really interesting, but it's not going to work in this scenario because now Altaria gets to roost up all turns, and Jake is gonna win that battle versus the Reuniclus. So now Nidoking comes out. Jake has a pretty decent switch in with his Scolipede, and he's going to be able to go for a Protect here. If he had Sword Dance, that could have been a decent play, but we do see the Groundium Z, and obviously this Dusclops is really bulky, really physically bulky. It's taking hits, and it actually goes for the Will-O-Wisp. So yeah, Scolipede's basically no longer useful in this match, so Jake is just going to go for damage here. He actually switches out into Volcarona to try to maybe go for Quivers, but Donphan pressures that out pretty well, so he goes right back out into Scolipede. It's not doing too much in this game, and the rocks are going to get up on the side of Jake once more. So yeah, unfortunately, wait, what was that right there? How did he get phased out? Donphan had a red card. Okay, so that's how he got phased out. But Scolipede comes back in on rocks and will die. But Donphan is now down. So Jake is up 6-4. He's got his really bulky Altaria in front of a Nidoking, but he is going to have to switch out and sack off his Scolipede because Altaria is slower. So he goes now into Volcarona, hoping that this thing, he can live a hit, and he does live a hit barely. Kills the Nidoking, and now it's Dusclops coming in. Sees that this thing is Choice Specs and does not really like a Fiery Dance too well, but Trick Room does go up and Destiny Bond comes out, and Jake's okay with trading his Reuniclus, or not his Reuniclus, his Volcarona for the Dusclops. So now Marowak comes out, and you guys can see 3 turns of Trick Room left. Marowak probably can kill every single thing on Jake's team, so he has to be careful with how he plays this. Lando will go down first. It is -1 attack, so we have to watch out for that. Reuniclus, or not Reuniclus, I keep saying Reuniclus. Mega Altaria is going to come out, try to roost up, but Shadowbone will do the damage there, and now Breloom's going to come out. He does have Protect on his Breloom, so that's what he's going to go for here, and Sir Hawthorne's going to go for the Flare Blitz. So now he can go for Rock Tomb, which is an interesting tech, and it's going to take this Marowak down to 20%, so this game is going to be really close, coming down to the wire, and Fire Punch, or Flare Blitz, is going to knock out the Breloom. Of course, with the Rock Head, you're not taking recoil from Flare Blitz. So now it comes down to Cloyster versus Masquerain and Marowak. Cloyster can easily go for a water type move and kill this Marowak, and then Masquerain comes out, and it's interesting on what would happen there, because if it is Focus Sash, then Jake should lose this match to it. Unfortunately, Jake is not White Herb. He's going to go for the Shell Smash right here. I don't know what the best play would have been, because I think Masquerain had Giga Drain, so he would have lost if he went for the kill here. But he did not have White Herb, and so that puts him into range of Flare Blitz. If he did have the White Herb on his Cloyster, the Marowak actually would not have been able to kill the Cloyster there, or at least it was a roll in Jake's favor, depending on the Marowak's investment, which I think it was full. So I think that Cloyster actually would have been able to live that Flare Blitz if it was the White Herb and got up that defense back to full. So unfortunately, Jake is going to lose his match once more. He did lose his in the last round as well, but Jake had a great season to lead us in the playoffs, and unfortunately just got unlucky in his matches, and yeah, that's just what happens sometimes in Pokemon. So we are going to have to eventually take down Sir Hawthorne at some point if we do want to win this finals, and Sir Hawthorne played really well in that game. So now we move on to, I believe, GV and Mandy. Yep, that is our next match. So Mandy bringing Milotic, Virizion, Mega Scizor, Latios, Raikou, and Diggersby, while GV Center is bringing Darmanitan, Scizor, Tyranitar, Electivire, Hippowdon, and the Alakazam. I believe that's regular Alakazam, but it could be Mega. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, Mandy has a decent matchup in this game. When we were prepping, we were trying to come up with good sets. She has Culverberry on her Lottie, which is decent in this match, but really what we are thinking is that a Calm Mind Raikou could be really good in this match, and there's just a lot of different things that we were trying to play around with ideas. So anyways, she's going to lead off with the Milotic as GV leads off with Darmanitan, so the perfect lead for Mandy right there, being able to get the typing, or like the good start right off the bat. She goes for Toxic, unfortunately, on the Magic Guard Alakazam, but I believe it is Mega Alakazam. Yeah, it is. So the Toxic will matter now that it's no longer Magic Guard, but she goes out into Raikou right away, which is one of her win conditions, but she is going to be fine. She's going to go, I believe, for the double. Yep, and this is not necessarily a great play for Mandy right here. I believe she is Cloverberry, if I remember her sets right, and Tyranitar could easily pursue Trapper, but she will go for the Devastating Drake because she doesn't want to switch out, and that is an Assault Vest Tyranitar, and she was a Cloverberry. Okay. I forget her sets, really, honestly, in this match. But, yeah, she sees Assault Vest Tyranitar just absolutely destroy the Lottie, which is unfortunate. Lottie doesn't do much in this game, and now Milotic is going to come out. I think she just goes for the Scald here. And Marvel Scale is interesting because now Alakazam has it, but she gets the crit, which goes through Marvel Scale, I believe. So, not going to work there. But Hidden Power Ice coming out, or Hidden Power Fire, maybe predicting this is, or it's probably what it is. And yeah. Milotic is going to live this crit energy ball, go for the recover, and that will be the end of Mega Alakazam. Milotic needs to stay at good health, though, to check the Darmanitan, so she's going to switch out on the Electivire and get the prediction right on the Wild Charge. However, GV Center is going to have Hammer Arm, which is going to really reduce, you know, the Diggersby in this match because now it's at 12%. However, Hammer Arm does lower speed, so Mandy is faster in this situation, forcing GV to switch out and stacking off the regular Scizor, and Hippowdon's going to come out here because it can live any single hit. Mandy will go for the return and get some good damage out on it. Unfortunately, Diggersby does go down, and it had a really good matchup in this game, but she does get to go out into Virizion, which also has a good matchup, goes for the sub, and this is where Mandy really takes control of this match because now she is able to set up, or no, she doesn't go for Swords Dance, but she is able to take down this Hippowdon, really one of the best checks to the rest of her team, and we can see here that she's going to get a free hit off on Darmanitan, which does put it into range of a lot of things, but she does get the crit, which I believe did matter in this match, but yeah, that's gonna be basically be it. I believe she goes for the close combat, taking the Electivire down into range of a lot of things. I think Scizzor's Bullet Punch is one of them, and I think that's what she finishes the game up with, is some Bullet Punches from the Scizzor. So that is gonna be the game for Mandy. She is going to pick up the 3-0 victory against GV Center, which is really nice because, you know, it's really nice to have some leeway right there, because if I don't win my match, then it's okay, because Team Eclipse still has a chance in the finals, and we all work together to help each other build and stuff, so we still have a chance because Mandy is able to pick up a win. And next we move on to my game versus Rocky. So we faced Rocky earlier in the season. Rocky had a really good team, and I believe we played pretty well and won 3-0 or 4-0, and then he made a lot of changes to his team after we played him. He dropped, I don't remember actually what his Mega was before, but he picked up Mega Sableye, and he just really got a bulky team. And so going into this match, I was really afraid that I was going to be able to break down his bulk. However, he didn't bring much of his bulk in this game. Of course, Mudsdale and Chansey are really bulky, and Arcanine and Primarina can be, but I wasn't too afraid of the bulk in this game because, yeah, he didn't bring the Mega Sableye, which was the one thing that I was really scared about. However, Finny usually can check Mega Sableye pretty well. I have Chartyberry on my Rotom, and this is the only reason. He has brought Archeops to like 9 games throughout the season, so I know he really likes Lemon. And I'm like, okay, he usually leads it. If he goes for the Stone Edge, I'll live it with my Chartyberry, and I'll kill it turn 1 with a Discharge, which would be really nice if that could happen. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead off with my Rotom, and he is going to lead with his Archeops, and I'm like, alright, this is what I prepped for. I know that this thing cannot kill me with any hit. I'm going to click the Discharge, and he hard switches, and I'm like, no, you got to be kidding me. Why did he hard switch? I don't know if he was predicting me to be Scarfed or what, but he hard switches out, and I'm like, no, my perfect prep. And he goes out into Arcanine, and I'm like, wait a second, what is Arcanine doing as a switch into Rotom, because it's not going to touch me. And he has Cell Battery, which gives him an attack boost, and I had no idea even that item existed. So good prep on his part, but he's not going to be able to touch me. He goes for Wild Charge, and obviously doing no damage. I'm just going to Toxic him, and then I believe on this turn I Volt Switch out because I just want to kill this thing. Or maybe, I think I Volt Switch, yep. Volt Switch out, and that is going to be the end of Arcanine. It's going to go down to Toxic on this turn. And yeah, we are able to pick up our first kill of the match. Chansey will come out, and I go for the taunt, just expecting rocks, but he does go for Seismic Toss, so good play on his part. I believe I have Nature's Madness on my Finny, but instead I'm just going to go out into Rotom because I want to Pain Split up, and look at this Pain Split. It's so nice. It's so nice. I get up the full, he gets down to 52%, and I'm like, that's what I was trying to do. So now we have Rotom at 67%, which is a lot better, and I can even Pain Split up more because I know that Chansey has really good HP, and I can Pain Split up just a little bit more. He goes for his rocks now, but Chansey really isn't doing too much in this match unless it can heal up. I go for Volt Switch, and he does get the play right by going in the Mudsdale. However, I can Toxic this thing. Rock Slide will break my Chartyberry, which means we don't check Archeops anymore, but you know, I do get the Toxic off, which is really nice. I'm going to go out into Solid Snake here, as he makes a really good play in Earthquakes on my Rotom, so knowing that we can't really touch him, I could have Pain Splitted, which I'm surprised that he didn't go for Rock Slide again, but predicting our Steelix, that was a good play on his part, and he will take down the Steelix. So I can get a free switch right here out into my Roserade to either set up Hazard or go for the Giga Drain, and I know how big of a problem this thing is, so I just go for the Sludge Bomb for damage. I was really expecting, I probably should have just went for Giga Drain actually, but now I can go for my Spike, and he goes for Healing Wish, and I'm like, wait, what's he going to Healing Wish? Healing up the Mudsdale, which I guess is a decent play, but it just gives me a free Giga Drain. And obviously the defense boost isn't going to matter. Earthquake is not going to be able to pick up the kill, and that will be the end of Mudsdale. However, he does switch out into his Alakazam, and Alakazam now sitting at 43%. I am going to switch out here out into Rotom, basically sacking it off. I don't need it anymore, and he is going to pick up the kill on my Rotom. And now this basically gives me a free switch into my Scarf Jirachi. So I will bring out my Scarf Jirachi, go for the Iron Head. That will be the end of Alakazam in this game. Is really looking like Rachi is going to be able to pick up the win. However, 2 Iron Heads might not kill the Mudsdale, especially with the stamina boost, so I will go out into my Finny. He goes for Earthquake. I know it'll be faster than this Mudsdale, so I'll just click the Surf, and that will be the end of the Mudsdale, meaning that Jirachi should be able to finish this game. His Primarina comes out. I put the Primarina into range of 2 Iron Heads, so Jirachi should be able to finish this one off, but just to be sure, I go out into my Roserade to go for the Giga Drain, and now it's Archeops versus the World. I know Archeops doesn't get that much coverage for everything, and if he's any sort of choice variant, then he can't kill everything on my team. He goes for Head Smash. I go out with my Scarf Rachi. If he is Scarfed, it's not going to matter, but he's not going to be Scarfed. And we go for the Iron Head and kill it. So 2-0 in the game. I felt like we played really well in that match and that we dominated for most of the match. We were thrown off by a few things. I think his Chansey set wasn't the greatest thing in the world with Healing Wish. It wasn't really doing much in the game. It should have, I think, been a Wish Protect set because it would have stalled out a lot of our special attackers, switching the Roserade every time as well as Finny. Wasn't too sure about that Chansey set there, but Jirachi putting in the work. Scarf Rachi is one of my favorite sets to run, and of course I don't really like going for flinches, but in that match we actually didn't have to, so I really like that. Gyarados didn't even get a chance to set up, but if it did get the +1, it was putting in a lot of work. The only thing stopping it basically is Primarina, and so yeah, I think that was just a good match overall. I think we had it in the bag the entire time. Only 24 turns, and we are able to pick up the win. So now it comes down to Mandy versus Sir Hawthorne. If Mandy loses, then we face Sir Hawthorne, but if Mandy wins, that will be the championship for Team Eclipse. So we will move on to Mandy versus Sir Hawthorne here. Mandy is on the top, Sir Hawthorne on the bottom. We have Donphan, Dusclops, Uniclus, Golisopod, Alola Marowak, and Togekiss on the side of Sir Hawthorne. Mandy bringing Latios, Milotic, Chandelure, Diggersby, Kecleon, and Ninetales. Is the second time in the season she's bringing Kecleon, which I probably should bring Kecleon more often in the leagues I have it, because I have it in PSBL and haven't brought it. But anyways, Mandy has some interesting sets. She has 2 Scarfers with Chandelure and the Ninetales. I believe she is a bulkier Latios, and I know she has Culverberry on this one because she got Pursuit Trapped in the last time she faced him. Basically her standard Milotic set with Marvel Scale Flame Orb, I think. And then she's got a set of Diggersby with Swords Dance, Return, Earthquake, Quick Attack. And we debated this set multiple times, and I was like, I think you should really have Knockoff on there so that you can kill Dusclops from a high percent. And she really wanted to have the Earthquake on there so that she could touch some other things, and I was like, well, you can have Earthquake, you don't necessarily need Return. I forget what Earthquake was for. I think it was for the Nidoking, and I'm like, well, Return can kill the Nidoking, and all this stuff. We went back and forth, and she ended up going with Earthquake over the Knockoff, which may or may not come into play in this game. She leads off with Milotic again, and actually gets another good lead with her Milotic against the Golisopod. Golisopod can't touch it, so Mandy will get up a recover, just expecting a first impression and really needing her Flame Orb. So I felt like that was a decent play, actually. And then she is going to go out into her Kecleon to check this Uniclus. You'll see how pitiful this damage does. Z Trick Room is really interesting because it does boost your accuracy, and you can see how Thunder now only does 16% to an AV. Kecleon coming out with a Knockoff, which won't do too much because it obviously was a Z move, but you know, Kecleon really putting in the work already because it's able to get off the leftovers of Donphan. Mandy expected Rocks right here, but she can't really do anything about it. She has no removal on her team except for Lottie, and I don't think she brought Defog. So she does actually do really well with this time of Trick Room. Nothing really happens, and that definitely works for her. But Leonardo comes out once more, takes only 17% from the Air Slash, and then goes for the Ice Punch on the Donphan, putting it down into almost range of another, but she doesn't want to risk it. So she will go back out into her Milotic as it checks this every time. Doesn't need the Flame Orb anyways, after she already got burned, and will go for the Recover out on the Togekiss switch. So this is where I feel like Mandy started the misplay, because she goes out into her Kecleon on this turn right here. And I feel like that's not the right play, because Kecleon is her only knockoff user, and she can't really win this game with the Eviolite still on Dusclops, because Dusclops can live hits from a lot of things. So I feel like she still needs Kecleon in this match, but she was using it as, too much of a special wall, and luckily the Air Slash misses here, but Rocks are tearing this thing down really badly. She will be able to pick up the kill on the Donphan with the Shadow Sneak here. Unfortunately, though, at 41%, Kecleon isn't doing too much in this game anymore. She will switch out here, but it can't switch into Togekiss anymore, and certainly can't switch into Reuniclus either, so Kecleon is really not going to be worth it unless she saves it to knock off on the Dusclops. So Reuniclus will come out here. Really wearing Reuniclus down is important, and Mandy is able to do that, putting it in the range of the Scarf Shandy, which is really good. And now we're going to see Togekiss doing what Togekiss does, going for a flinch right here. She goes out into her Assault Vest, what's it called, Kecleon, and that will be the end of Le Mans. Kecleon is down, which means that the Evolite will stay on the Dusclops for the remainder of the match. Dusclops does come out here on the Choice Scarf Ninetales as the Blizzard does some decent damage, which is really important to get damage on this because she needs to put it into range of the Diggersby if she wants to win Diggersby, or of the Shandy. However, she switches out into her, what's it called, her Milotic, and you know, it's decent because she gets the recovery up, but I feel like she really should have just went for damage. She knows this thing has the trick, or has the Thunder, and now you know, Milotic is gone, which means it can't check Golisopod anymore. So now Mandy really struggles with Golisopod in this game. She really struggles with a lot of things, and she's bringing out her Lottie here, knowing that she can go for Protect and stall at this last turn of Trick Room. Protect was just a really good plan for all of us because of Golisopod being such a, you know, big threat. She can just protect on every single first impression, and that was just really a nice tech that we could bring against their Hawthorne. Sucker Punch here with the Culverberry does a lot of damage, but she is able to go for the Draco Meteor, forcing this thing out into its emergency exit. Really bulky on the special side there, but you know, not too much. And you will see here the Trick Room come out from Dusclops into Shadow Sneak, and Mandy goes for Calm Mind, and I felt like that was such a bad play on Mandy's part. If she goes for Psychic here, I think Mandy can win this game, and she allows Dusclops to be out in front of everything. She's forced to go into Shandy. If she had gone for the Psychic, Chandelure wins this game because it just clicks Shadow Ball and everything. Togekiss isn't in range, but Togekiss can't deal damage back. Everything else is in range of the Shadow Ball. If she had just gone for Psychic with her Lottie on that turn she went for Calm Mind, this game is over. However, you know, she goes for Shadow Ball. She is going to be able to kill the Togekiss here, but it's not going to be enough because of, you know, Golisopod being able to come out here now. Golisopod does have the Sucker Punch, so I felt like Mandy should have switched out here, but she is just going to sack off her Chandelure. So I guess that was one thing, is Golisopod did have Sucker Punch, but it does allow Diggersby to come out here. And Mandy still has a chance to win this game, of course, because Diggersby can still win this game with Earthquake and Quick Attack on the Golisopod and stuff like that, but Mandy has a lot of different plays she can make here. She felt like Sir Hawthorne's best play was to go for Liquidation. Even I don't know if he's revealed Liquidation yet, but he has Liquidation, I think. But Mandy was like, okay, his best play is to go for Liquidation here, and I will just go for the kill with Return. I'm sitting here watching this game, and I'm like, Mandy, you need to click Swords Dance to have a chance, because if she doesn't click Swords Dance, then Dusclops just comes in and wins the game anyways. And so I think that Mandy's best play here would have been to click Swords Dance, and if Sir Hawthorne clicked Liquidation, then good for him. But if Mandy clicks Return, then it doesn't matter if she kills the Golisopod, because then Dusclops just comes in anyways, and, you know, either goes for Will-O-Wisp or gets up the Trick Room for the Marowak. So Mandy will go for the Return. Aqua Jet comes out from the Golisopod, and she will be able to kill the Golisopod. Unfortunately, though, Dusclops will come out. Mandy's going to go for the Earthquake here. Actually, no, she doubles out into her Ninetales as the Trick Room comes up. And that will be it for the game. There's nothing Mandy can do to outstall this, and this is a max attack Adamant Dusclops, so not really able to do anything. It does have Brick Break as well for Aurora Veil, and that will be the game. Sir Hawthorne beating Mandy as well, which means it is going to come down to us once again, just like in the last round of playoffs. Jake lost, Mandy won, I won, Mandy lost, and it comes down to me versus Sir Hawthorne. I had a really tough time building my team against Sir Hawthorne. I'll show you guys what we got right here. I went back and forth on a lot of things. Hariyama was one thing that I was really debating, because I felt like Hariyama was decent in this match, but it depended on what he brought, and it really was just my counter to Trick Room, because my team doesn't counter Trick Room really well. But looking at the matchup, I'm like, I don't think he brings Trick Room, because I felt like his team under Trick Room didn't really do much against me. In my mocks, both mocks I did, Trick Room was brought against me, and I was just like, you know what, I just need to bring Hariyama, and it really shouldn't have been that play. Jake told me I should bring Gyarados, and I didn't have Gyarados on the team. And what ended up happening is I took off Sliggoo, which I really wanted to check Superior, and I took off Rotom, and I think I had Jirachi on this team as a Scarfer, and I switched it to Screens because I couldn't have Rotom. It was just like a lot of changes on the team. I didn't feel comfortable in the game, but I knew that if I played my cards right, Gengar was my win condition 100% of the time, and if Gengar couldn't do it, everything, or Salamence and Gyarados behind Screens could. And so I see this team at Team Preview, I'm like, okay, I have a chance to win this game, because he didn't bring a lot of the stuff well, he didn't bring Tyranitar, which I was really scared of. He didn't bring Dusclops, which I was sort of scared of. He does bring Nidoking, which, you know, is such a problem for my team. I have Assault Miss, Hariyama, and that's about it for the Nidoking. And I'm just like really flustered at Team Preview because I'm like, I don't even know what to lead here. I want to lead Finny, expecting the Donphan, but I felt like Hariyama was the safest lead overall, so that is what I'm going to lead with. And luckily I didn't lead with Finny, because if I led with Finny, I would have been on a really bad spot right away. However, I get the Manectric, which I'm happy with because I can fake out turn 1 and just see how much I do. It does show he has no HP investment by this fake out, which means he's just max special attack, max speed. So that's really nice to know. But he is going to Volt Switch here, as I'm just going to go for the knockoff expecting the Volt Switch. And we are going to get a crit, which is unfortunate for Sir Hawthorne. He did crit us on his Volt Switch, so I guess we can get crit for crit here. But I was at -2. This knockoff should have only done 26%, and instead it does 89%. And I felt so terrible right here, because I was like, no, this is the finals. This isn't supposed to happen. And Masquerain now is going to go for the webs. I knew webs was the play here. I couldn't kill with a bullet punch, even though, 11% you should think bullet punch should kill, but it didn't because I was -2. And I'm like, okay, he's going to go for webs here. And I'm going to go out into my Finny. I'm going to defog. And he goes for his webs. And then I started to think, I'm like, no, I can't do this, because Serperior is such an easy switch in right now. Like, Serperior should be the switch in 100% of the time, because if I defog, he gets the evasion boost, and that's really annoying. So I go for the Moonblast instead. He goes for Giga Drain, gets the crit on our Finny, which is really unfortunate, but we are going to be able to kill the Masquerain. I know I can't let Finny go down, so when Serperior does come in here, of course I'm very upset because I don't have my my Sliggoo to switch into this, or my Rotom, and I'm going to go out into my Jirachi instead because it's really bulky. And you're going to see we're going to eat up this Leaf Storm. However, I don't have moves to really deal damage back to the Serperior. I'm just like, this is really unfortunate. I'll go for Light Screen right here, hoping he, switches out or goes for the kill. And he's going to get up to +6. And I'm just like, I really wish I had Sliggoo right now. We're going to see Ironhead does not put it into great range, but I can actually just sack off my Jirachi here. I was hoping he'd miss a Leaf Storm in there and go out into my Gengar. And I looked at the calcs. And this is where I really knew I had to make a play to win this game. I looked at the calcs. I'm behind a Light Screen. This thing is +6. The best a Leaf Storm is doing to me right now is about, I think it was like 88% max. So I know I can live any Leaf Storm that he goes for. If he goes for Dragon Pulse, I can live that. Actually, yeah, I think I'd live Dragon Pulse as well. I think Leaf Storm actually wasn't that high. It was probably like around 68%, and then Dragon Pulse was at 88%. So I know I can live any single hit he goes for, and he would expect me to go for the Sludge Wave. I didn't know if Sir Hawthorne did calcs, and like if he didn't do calcs, then I feel like his safest play here would just be to go for the Leaf Storm or the Dragon Pulse and really, go for damage. But I didn't know what he really wanted to do here. My Gengar has a lot of HP, and I don't think he could risk it. And I'm looking at the calcs, and I'm like, okay, Psychic does enough damage to put this in the range of fake out Bullet Punch. And if he goes out into Nidoking expecting the Sludge Wave, I can get that thing with a huge Psychic and have a possibility to kill him. So that's what I'm going to do. He is going to switch out into his Nidoking. We're going to go for the Psychic, and he's going to live on 1. And I was like, no, 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 no. The roll wasn't in his favor to live, but I just was like, oh my gosh, that was such a good play. Oh, I was so mad when that happened. He lived on 1. No Focus Sash. He just lived on 1. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Okay, there's been a lot of luck in this game. On both sides. Critical hits everywhere. Living on 1 with the Nidoking. And I was like, okay, I need to switch out to my Hariyama here. It's my only play. It's going to go for the Earth Power and see that it does absolutely nothing. 17%. Hariyama is a great mon. I knew I had a lot of plays I could have made here, but I just decided Bullet Punch or Fake Out was the best idea. I could have went for like close combat, but he does go out into Manectric to intimidate me, and now I can just go for Ice Punch. I went for Ice Punch because I was predicting the Donphan to come out, but we do get the lucky freeze on Golisopod, and it's just like, oh my goodness, we're getting hacks back and forth, and we have the freeze now on Golisopod, and I'm just like, okay, yep, we're definitely having the majority of hacks, and I just felt really bad. I said I'm sorry and everything in the chat, but right now I'm just going to go out into my Ments because I can set up on the Golisopod. He goes out into Donphan, and I'm just like, okay, never mind. Guess I'm not setting up because Ice Shard still does some good damage. I think I could set up here, but it's not the greatest idea, so I am just going to go out into Gyarados, get the second Intimidate on this thing, as he goes for the Z move, and I'm just like, wait a second, what? Why is he going for Z move? He goes for a Z Poison, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. Now I was so flustered at this point in the match because he wasn't predicting Finny. He was definitely just trying to go for damage on Ments, and at this point it should have clicked in my head that he doesn't have Ice Shard, and it just didn't click. I was just like, oh my goodness, Ments can't set up on this, and I can go for Dragon Dance here, but I'm really just expecting the Manectric, and so, well actually I should have went for Dragon Dance there. I'm not sure why I didn't. I was just playing poorly. But Manectric does come in. I was actually just predicting, I don't know what I was predicting. But Ments comes in, and now I'm forced out into my Hariyama. He does go for HP Ice, and Hariyama is able to take that. At this point, I thought I lost the match, because he can actually spam Thunderbolt, and he would win the game. So yeah, at this point, I was like, oh, I lost. I can't believe I lost, because he actually should have won this game right here. Manectric should have been able to click Thunderbolt, HP Ice, Thunderbolt, 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 and actually win the game. But for some reason, he goes for Volt Switch, and it gives me a glimmer of hope. And I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have a chance in this game now. I'm going to sack off my Hariyama. Superior gets up to +2. That doesn't matter. Gengar lives a hit. I can go for any single move here. I'm just going to go for the Sludge or Shadow Ball. No, Sludge Wave. As he goes out in the Golisopod, I can't risk the first turn Thaw, so I'm going to go out into my Spyro. He's going to actually Thaw and go for Aqua Jet. And I'm like, okay, I can win this game. I need to Dragon Dance up on this thing. He goes for Poison Jab. That's nothing. I can Dragon Dance up. I'm like, I have a chance now. I'm going to win this game. He keeps giving me these free Dragon Dance. I'm like, okay, I'll Roost here because I have Roost. I'm like, I have a chance now, and I'm going to go for the Fly because I don't have, Dragon Claw doesn't kill from this range, and probably should have went for Dragon Claw. It would have put him in the emergency exit. I don't know why I did that play. And he goes out in the Donphan, and I'm like, okay, I can't kill this thing because it has Sturdy, and I know that Ice Shard is a thing. And I should have known it didn't have Ice Shard because it didn't click it on me earlier. It clicked the Poison Z move. And I'm going to go for my Z-Fly just for damage, even though I kind of need it for the Manectric. He's going to go for Gunk Shot, and I'm like, okay, now he's going to go for Ice Shard. And I just should have known he didn't have Ice Shard. But I go out into my Mega Gyarados. I'm just going to go for the kill on the next turn because I can live any hit here. He goes for Earthquake. I can't live the next one, so I will just go for the Waterfall. And I was just so frustrated because I had so many chances to win that game there, and now I have to protect on the first impression, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this game is getting so intense because I should have been able to win this game several times. I should have lost the game 10 turns ago, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to Roost here. I should have just went for the... Actually, no, I do go for Dragon Dance because of the possible Manectric play. And I'm like, okay, I have a chance because Dragon Claw kills here. And he sacks off his Manectric. And all of a sudden, it's looking like I'm going to win this game. He goes for first impression. That's okay. I'll let my Ments go down. I'm going to go out into my Finny because I need to get rid of Webs for Gengar. Well, I don't need to get rid of Webs for Gengar to win this game, but I'd like to get rid of Webs. I could have just went Gengar here and clicked Shadow Ball a couple times or Sludge Wave a couple times to win the game. But I wanted to get rid of Webs first. So I'm going to sack off my Finny here. I was hoping I wouldn't put him in the emergency exit. And I wanted to click Surf just to not put him in emergency exit. But if he had went Surf first on that play, that's why I went for Moonblast. But Gengar can live any hit from this thing. I am Scarfed. I'll go for the Sludge Wave. He goes out into Golisopod and goes for Aqua Jet. He will live the Sludge Wave. And then I will go for another one. So I actually kind of misplayed there at the end by getting rid of Webs, because I actually didn't need to, I don't think. Because Gengar lived any hit from the Surf anyways. I think I actually should have just went out on Gengar, Sludge Waved and either emergency exited the Glycopod and then got SERP, or, you know, the other ways of getting that game done. But anyways, we win. Team Eclipse is the champion of UPL Season 2. I feel really bad because Sir Hawthorne actually could have won that game. There was a chance, actually, Mence lived a Hidden Power Ice. I didn't mention that, but Mence could have lived a Hidden Power Ice. So there is that. But yeah, crazy game. And we are going to win. Gengar really comes through for us at the end, and, you know, Team Eclipse is the winners of Season 2. So we're going into Season 3 now. I have done my draft. We've got some really interesting mons for us next season. I'll do a draft analysis pretty soon. But yeah, UPL Season 2 is now over. We are going to be able to defend our title and get our second championship in this league. Actually, my 5th championship I've ever had. I've had one in my brother's league that we used to do. We actually don't do it anymore, but that was the Pokemon Draft Association. And then I have 2 now in UPL. I have 1 in PSBL and 1 in SML. So I actually have 5 championships, which is really amazing. And I was able to capture this entire season for you guys. So, you know, in total, my record this season, including playoffs, was 15-4, which is a huge improvement from last season, which was 9-5. I mean, I guess that's a pretty big improvement. I'll show you guys the stats real quick of my team if I can pull them up. Let's see. Hopefully I can get these, but if not, I'll have to like edit the video around. I'm loading up the spreadsheet right now and hoping that I can show you guys my team stats, because I did keep track of them the entire year. This is our doc for UPL. You guys can see the Google Doc loading up right here, but it just was a really fun season overall. I did feel bad about so much hacks in the championship game, but I felt like there were hacks on both sides, and the game just was really tough. I should have actually won that game with Mence on the Dawn fan, but I was just afraid of Ice Shard, and that was just my fault for misplaying. But you guys can see my team right here. Hopefully you guys can see the stats. Let's see, I gotta move around. You guys can see stats. I don't know if you'll be able to see all of it. There's Finny through Cofagrigus. Yeah, okay, so let me just try to move this around a little bit more. That is my final roster. Okay, and then I can move that a little bit over. This is going to be difficult for you guys to see everything, but basically there is my team. I actually could probably just take a picture and put it on the screen instead, but this is fine. Tapu Fini with 18 kills, 14 deaths, and a 4 differential. I brought it to 17 games. I know you can't see that column all the way, and I can't really actually scroll over unless it gets rid of everything. So I have Jirachi with 21 kills and 5 deaths, being my MVP of the team, 16 differential, 13 games played. So I actually brought Finny to 17 out of 19 games, which is crazy. I have Mence with 10 kills, 6 deaths, and a +4 differential, 11 games brought to Rotom Heat, 5 kills, 5 deaths, 15 games brought to Roserade, 9 and 8 with 12 games, 9 and 7 for Steelix with 10 games, 16 and 3 for Gyarados, which is really nice in 10 games. Hariyama 7 and 6 in 11 games. I never brought Comfey after we traded it for Cofagrigus, so I don't have any stats for Comfey there. And Sliggoo also never got brought, but Gengar going 11 and 6 in 10 games. So Gengar was able to come through for us in a couple of games there. And then my free agents, which you guys can't see on the screen, but Rhydon, Komala, and Cofagrigus, all of which I had on my team at some point. Never really did too much. I never brought Komala. I think I dropped it before week 1 even started, and then Rhydon 0-1, 2 games, and Cofagrigus 0-2, 3 games. So yeah, that is our season. I think in the future, there's not too many of these mons I'd like to try out again. I was really happy with Steelix this season. I really think I really think I used it well. Steelix was one of my favorite mons to use in Draft League, but I don't necessarily like have a feeling of like, wow, that was a great mon. Like when I finished UPL Season 1, I just really loved my team, and this team was a little bit different. Like Jirachi, I knew it was a good mon, it did well for me, but I don't really want to use it again. Like maybe I will in the future, but as of right now, I'm just like, yeah, Jirachi did its job, Finny did its job, Mence did its job. I really enjoyed using Gyarados, but I was kind of disappointed with how I used it earlier in the season. I really liked how I used it near the end. I really liked Roserade, so I think Roserade and Rotom Heat would be the things that I'd be interested in grabbing again in the future. I was kind of disappointed with Gengar, but, you know, coming through in the championship match made me feel like I want to use Gengar again. And Kamala, it was one thing I dropped really early, and I think that I want to use that at some point, because every time I drop him on, I'm like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have dropped it, and I feel like Kamala was definitely the one on there. But anyways, that's going to be the season. I hope you guys did all enjoy the entire UPL Season 2, and hopefully you're excited for Season 3. Team Eclipse is going to win. Next season is not team-based, it's all individual GBA-style drafts and so forth. So, yeah, that should be interesting draft analysis, probably coming out later this week or next week. And other than that, guys, have a nice day. Peace.